Commanders hire Dan Quinn to match with their new general manager, Adam Peters, to lead this franchise into the future.
The way that we live is not for everybody, okay? It's not, all right? Because we're going to run and put our bodies on people in a violent manner.
Whether the team is giving us the highest of highs or the bluest of blues, we'll cover it all here on Commanders Nightly News. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So today it's just one of those surreal days where it starts to really sink in. Now we're transitioning to game week, NFC Championship, and I'm watching the press conferences, and, you know, we don't know no better, man. We ain't been here before for most of us. The coverage wasn't like this in 1991, right? Like, we haven't been here before, man. So they put the backdrop up. And it's the NFC Championship game backdrop. And I'm watching DQ and Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz and Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin and Jeremy Reeves and, you know, all of these guys speak, and Mikey Sainristil. And it hits you again like, yo, we in the NFC Championship game. But here's, and this is fun. This is so much fun. But here's what I need you to understand. The job is not done. We are not happy to be here. We aren't some trophy or token participant. We earned the right to be here. We beat the 1 seed, we beat the 3 seed, and now we staring the 2 seed in the face, and we looking to run the damn table. We ain't happy to be here, and the job is not done. It ain't finished. So for as much fun as this is, and I want you to soak it up, I want you to enjoy every minute of it. I want you to troll every single fan that's been trolling you. I want you to troll every single fan base that's been trolling you. Because for years, they didn't exhibit humility to us. So have your fun, have your day in the sun, but understand the job is not done. I'm just here to tell y'all, just in case you forgot, I'm not going to talk your head off about this. But just as I've been telling y'all to enjoy this, because nothing is guaranteed to us. There's no guarantee. I said this is always my example that I go back to. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl in his second season, and I'm pretty sure everybody covering the NFL at that time thought, man, this is the first of many trips to the Super Bowl for Dan Marino, including Dan Marino. He probably thought, oh, I'm going to win one, you know, at some point in my career. I'll be back here. And he never made it back. We're doing something right now. Jayden Daniels is doing something that it took Lamar Jackson, 5-6 years to do? 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. It took him 6 years to do. He played in the AFC Championship game for the first time last year. Josh Allen is making his second career appearance in the AFC Championship game. This is year 7 for him. His quarterbacks, Justin Herbert ain't even won a playoff game yet. Like, this shit is not easy, okay? I mean, Dak Prescott's never been here before. Kirk Cousins never been here before. These are some of the better quarterbacks. They may be in that middle tier, right? But these were some of the guys that have been some of the best quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers has only been to 1 Super Bowl. Just 1. Drew Brees only been to 1 Super Bowl in his career. Just 1. It's not easy to get to this point, win this game, and get to that next point. And then win that game and call yourself a world champion. But we 60 minutes away from getting to New Orleans in Super Bowl 59. And then we another 60 minutes away from calling ourselves Super Bowl champions for the 4th time in franchise history. But you can't get to one without the other. We got to take care of this one. And the job ain't done. And we ain't happy to be here. Yeah, it's a great story. Yeah, we were counted out. We weren't supposed to be here. Yep, we were a 4-13 team last year. Oh my God, look at the Cardiac Commanders. Look at the Cinderella Commanders. That's cute, fine, and dandy. But we here now. And all that other shit is irrelevant. I already said it. I'm going to be disappointed if we don't win the Super Bowl. To hell with just winning the championship game. I'm going to be disappointed if we don't win the Super Bowl. We got the best quarterback playing right now in the postseason. And we got a team that believes. And we riding the biggest win streak in the NFL. And we got the most confidence out of anybody. The brotherhood is real. And so while this is a ton of fun, man, and I can't begin to explain to you how much fun I'm having right now. Like every night I get off of my stream and I got shit to do, man. I should be over here grinding and getting other things done, setting the table for the next day of work that I have. And I go sit down on the couch, grab my smoothie, grab my refreshments, and I'm taking in as much Jayden Daniels and Commanders content as I can. I'm a glutton for this stuff. I'm enjoying myself beyond my wildest imagination. But guess what? I am fully aware that the job is not done. And I just want you all to understand that as well. Enjoy it, have fun, live it up. But ain't no more empty calories. Everything that happens from this point forward needs to have nutritional value. I don't know about y'all, but I think some grilled bird is the best way to keep all of the nutrients inside to provide us with the nourishment that we need to take care of whomever awaits us on the other side, whether that's a Bill or a Chief. So what do you say? Are you hungry or no? If you full, then Sunday doesn't mean anything to you. But if you starving, my damn front, my stomach touching my back, I'm starving. Let's go eat. In other news, come with me. Let's go eat. Dan Quinn and a host of Commanders players spoke today. And again, it was one of those surreal moments where it hits you like, yo, I'm watching my favorite team speak with an NFC Championship background and backdrop behind them. This shit is crazy. It's another one of those moments where it hits you. This shit is real. Get your affairs in order, right? Get your ass in gear. It's real. So a lot was said today. We're going to go through that. But before we get to any of that, let's get to the injury report for both teams. See what, the landscape looks like heading into this massive, monumental NFC Championship game. Start with the good guys, of course. Obviously, we know Sam Cosmi's out for the season, and they'll put him on IR on Saturday, more likely than not. Zach Ertz, Aklee, and Dante Fowler Jr. always get rest on the first day of the work week, so that's no news here. Daron Payne and Bobby Wagner getting rest makes a ton of sense. There's no reason. I wouldn't be shocked if Bobby Wagner doesn't practice tomorrow either, right? Like, there's no reason for him to practice. We know he's going to play. We know what he's about. We know that when the lights come on and the stage is its brightest, when the stage is its biggest and the lights are its brightest, Bobby Wagner's going to perform. Daron Payne's going to perform. So we got no issues with these dudes sitting out of practice, right? Javonte John Baptiste, that's a new one. Injury limited, or shoulder rather, limited. My guess is he'll be fine. The one that I was really concerned with was Olamide Zaccheaus' hip. I was told it was a groin initially, but they have him listed as a hip, and he was limited. That's great news, because if it was extremely serious, he would have just been out today. But I'll keep my eye on him, because obviously the last time we played Philadelphia, he was a huge part of that game, and we need all hands on deck at the skill positions, right? So gotta have him available. So John Bates, shoulder full. That's good to see. Same with Biadish's ankle full. Brandon Coleman, shoulder full. Dominique Hampton. Keep in mind, today was a glorified walkthrough for all intents and purposes. But Dominique Hampton back. Good to see him, available if need be. Full. Frankie Louvu, shoulder full. Jeremy McNichols, hand full. Ben Sinnott, shoulder full. So nothing here is overly concerning, right? Keep an eye on Olamide Zaccheaus. You know, Duran's knee was added to this. We know about the finger now. The knee is up there. But again, nothing here startles me. This looks like a non-threatening injury report heading into the biggest game of the season, which is great. And, you know, we get the additional day of rest, right? We played on a Saturday. So we had the additional day of rest. So I love that too, right? That doesn't hurt. And for anybody that wants to complain about that, guess what? We had the short rest the week prior, right, where we played on a Sunday and then had to turn around and play on a Saturday. So we reaped the benefits of that on the back end. So that's going to allow Bobby Wagner an extra day of recovery. That's going to allow a Daron Payne or a Tyler Biadasz or anybody that was nursing an injury to have an extra day of recovery. So feeling good about this injury report, and we'll keep tabs on it as the season, or excuse me, as the week continues to progress. Now we go to the ops, and there's not really much here to see. Goddard didn't play the last time we played the Eagles. He was out. I believe he was out the second time we played them. The first time we played them, you know, he played and had an impact. So he's big. He's going to be fine. He's got an ankle. He didn't practice, but that's just precautionary on their part. He'll be out there. Same with Cam Jurgens, their center. He'll be out there when it's game time on Sunday. So this looks like a pretty clean injury report for them. You know, the big thing for them was Quinyon Mitchell left the game, did not return against the Rams with a shoulder injury. He was limited today. Again, it's a walkthrough, so you really can't glean anything from that. But what my guess is, Hurts' knee limited. Hurts is banged up. Don't care. Not my problem. Quinyon Mitchell banged up. Don't care, not my problem. Those guys are going to play. It's the playoffs. I've talked about this already. Everybody's dealing with something, right? Like Bobby's ankle isn't 100%. Tyler Biadasz's ankle ain't 100%, right? Brandon Coleman's shoulder ain't 100%. Like, we know dudes are dealing with stuff. That's the time of year it is. Everybody's going to strap it up and get ready to go on Sunday. So I expect every single dude on this injury report to play on Sunday or to be available at the bare minimum. So this is a pretty clean injury report for the Eagles. But again, the one tomorrow is the one I want to see because Jalen Hurts is going to practice. Quinyon Mitchell probably going to practice. But this was a walkthrough. So you can participate in that. You don't participate tomorrow, now we got questions, right? Today's one of those days you can be limited. You could be a non-participant and everything's fine. So we'll see tomorrow. But I got a feeling all these dudes are playing. All these dudes will be just fine, ready to go. And so really don't think there's going to be an advantage either way for either team heading in to this contest. So let's get to what was said at the podium. Man, today, I mean, again, welcome to championship weekend, right? Welcome to championship Sunday. I mean, wow. We haven't heard from this many players since training camp in one day. I mean, they were just parading them up one after another. We first started out with DQ, then we went to Jayden, then it was Frankie, then it was Terry, then it was Zach Ertz, then it was Jeremy Chin, then it was Jeremy Reeves, you know, then it was Mike Sainris still. So yeah, we heard from a lot of dudes today, man. But DQ was the most impactful. But you know what it reminded me of today? And I think today was one of those hammering home messages type of day where I realized once again why DQ was the right man for the job. And more importantly, forget about what I think. Joe Gibbs used to say this, and I remember I watched the 91 America's, team or America's game. 1991 Washington Redskins, America's game, at least 7 times. I love that show, right? I just love that show in general. I love listening to guys tell stories about that season and whatever the things surrounding it. And one of the things that was always abundantly clear was the messaging, right? Joe Gibbs had those guys programmed like robots, and not saying that you don't want guys to be able to think for themselves, but it says something about your ability to communicate and the message resonating when you hear not one, not two, not three, not four, but the entire team repeating and regurgitating the same things over and over again. That means your messaging is clear, it's concise, and it's gotten through to the team. And with DQ, you can tell that there's been a concise, a clear messaging all throughout the season. Guys use a lot of the same phrases. Dog ass competitor came up. If we did a drinking game today, sitting through the hour plus of interviews that were had between DQ and all of the players that stepped to the podium, and we did a drinking game and we took a shot every time the phrase dog ass competitor came up, all of us would be stone cold blackout drunk right now. But that's messaging, right? If we talked about anybody, anywhere, anytime, and how many times that was said, and we took a shot for every time that was mentioned and referred to, we would be blackout drunk today, right? But those are things that they live by. If we took a shot for every time we heard the word brotherhood or culture, right? Playing for the guy next to us, playing for something bigger than myself, right? Genuine. Be who you are. If we took a shot for any of those DQ-isms, again, we wouldn't be able to function tomorrow. But that's a sign of a true leader that has gotten through to his crew. And so today was reassuring for me that DQ's the right man for the job. And that's why we're here, because he set the tone from day one. When you listen to guys like Terry relay that message to us as fans in the media and say, hey, this is why it's different now. When you hear Jeremy Reeves talk about this is why it's different now, you get it. You understand why we here in the championship game in year one of a recalibration as we try to find our north. DQ said some impactful shit. And the more I listen to DQ, the more I realize we're very similar in our, brain wiring structure, right? I was always, you remember week one, right? Go back into your mind. I know it's a long time ago, but go back into your mental Rolodex and go through all of those pages in the mental Rolodex all the way back to week one. It's a long time. We're a totally different team. But I want you to remember how pissed off DQ and Adam Peters were, but DQ in particular, right? We didn't hear from Adam Peters. We were told he was pissed off. But we saw it. We visibly saw DQ pissed after that game. When he spoke, he was hot. And I was like, yo, DQ, it's the first game, bro. Like, what did you think we were going to go out? Like, we all expected to win. I thought we were going to win. I'm not going to sit here and act like I picked us to lose that game. I thought we were going to beat Tampa Bay. We acted as if Tampa Bay wasn't a playoff team the year before. We really disrespected Tampa Bay is what we did, right? We treated Tampa Bay like they were some type of chump. Like, oh, Baker Mayfield ain't going to do that shit again. He was really good last year. He ain't going to do it again. He got a new offensive coordinator, this, that, and the third. We came up with all these reasons why we was going to blaze them, and they kicked our ass. And DQ was pissed. I mean, beyond pissed. It's the most upset I've seen him the entire year. And this is how you know it's the most upset. It's the only loss that he refers to over and over and over again. When he gets pissed off or when something comes up, he goes back to that Tampa game. You could see it the week when we played Tampa. He was hot and he was like, yeah, nah, they kicked our ass. And the score doesn't indicate how bad they beat us. Like, he was hot about that. And I just remember in the moment saying, damn, DQ, why are you so pissed? And now we found out today why he was so pissed. So let me give you a little bit of background story about me. I'm hyper competitive. I've told y'all this already. I told y'all the story about the tic-tac-toe with the 7-year-old girl that I was tutoring, and I couldn't even let her win. I'm a piece of shit. I know. When it comes to competing, I suck. I'm not ashamed of it. All right. So when, one of the things that I don't deal with well is people dismissing me or my squad or whatever, right? Dismissiveness is one of the few ways, and, I've gotten better with it. And I've gotten better to the point now where I can tell y'all openly that this is something that bothers me because it ain't going to get under my skin as much as it used to. But DQ is at the level now where he can talk about it too, right? Because you never want to tell somebody what your weakness is. But remember, I told y'all when L.A.B, he dismissed us. Remember, he told me when we beat him back in 2022. And remember, we weren't terrible that year. you know? And we were bad when we were going into that game. When I said, don't let us catch you outside undefeated. You remember, we had, we weren't good yet. We weren't a good team. But then by the time we got to that game, we had run off, 4 out of our last 5 or 3 out of our last 4. I believe it was 3 out of our last 4. We lost to Minnesota before we played Philadelphia. And then we beat the Eagles, and then we won our next, 2 games after that against Atlanta and Houston. So we won 6 out of 7. And so we weren't bad that year, right? That was the 7-5 season, and we tied the Giants 7-5-1 heading into our bye. And when we beat the Eagles, we went live, we had another Super Friends stream, and L.B was dismissive of me and the Commanders and what we had accomplished. He said, y'all ain't even making the playoffs. And that shit got under my skin because I'm like, oh, you think we ain't making the playoffs? And guess what? We ain't make the playoffs. And I came back and I told all of y'all, that shit got to me. He was dismissive. Being dismissive is the most disrespectful thing you can do outside of, calling somebody outside their name or putting your hands on somebody. Just dismissing them, right? Like, you don't even exist, bro. You're not even on our level. We used to do that as a Duke fan. We used to do that to Maryland all the time. We used to get under their skin. Like, they wanted to be our rival so bad, and we used to just dismiss them like, man, y'all get out of here, man. Y'all ain't no real rival. That used to piss them off. I know it did, because people don't like being dismissed. Something being said to you dismissively, it gets under your skin if you're a competitor, if you care. This means something to me, man. If it means something to you, then, and that first game of the season, that shit hit DQ hard. And he said that after that game, it was like, hey, man, you'll get them next time. It's all right, man. Y'all got a long way to go, man. It's, sort of pretty much saying, hey, it's a rebuild. You straight. Don't worry about it. And DQ was like, nah, F that. He was like, nah, that shit got under my skin. He said, I felt some type of way. I was like, F that. Nah, that ain't how we get down. That ain't what we believe in that building. And now it all makes sense why he was so pissed off after that first week, because they was telling him bullshit after that game. Like, it'll be all right, coach. You all right. Y'all will get them next time. Nah, bullshit. We didn't just spend 3 weeks preparing for Tampa Bay to come out and look like that. That ain't who we are. That doesn't reflect the type of work we put in or who we want to be. That ain't the product that we want to put on the field every week. That ain't how we get down in this locker room. That ain't Commanders football, or as they talked about a lot today, the Commander standard. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Why he was so upset, and why he was bent out of shape. He explained it. And you just love the point that we find ourselves at now, and you see how we got here, and you understand the psyche and the mental makeup of the locker room and why we got there, because we got a leader that has taken us to this point, and he set the standard. He allowed the players to set the standard, but he first set the tone, right? You can't come in loosey-goosey, having fun, laughing, joking with players, and then when shit starts to go awry and amok, now you want to try to drop the hammer. That was Jay Gruden, right? Can't be letting dudes give you wet willies and shit, and then when all of a sudden, when DJ Swearinger is going out to the media and discussing shit, and you tell him, hey, don't do that, and he's still doing it anyway and testing you and pretty much pulling your card. You know why he's doing that? Is because you never established yourself from the get-go that this is how this operation is going to be run. DQ set the tone, and everybody's falling in line. And we on some drumline shit, man. One band, one mother effing sound. And boy, does this shit sound sweet. And today was a reminder of that. And just the competitive juice that's in that locker room. Starts with our damn GM. I mean, hell, DQ said today our owner is super competitive. He talked about the different processes he goes through with them and how they meet every Monday and they go over the game and 6 to 10 plays that were influential and, their thought process as to why they did what they did. And he said, hey, he was a wrestler, man. He's super competitive. That's going up and down through this organization now. Competitiveness. And the will to win. I'll talk briefly about what Jayden said because I really encapsulated what a lot of the guys talked about. This is the most we heard Jeremy Chin talk, right? But for a lot of guys, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin, they haven't played, like, they haven't been in this situation before, you know? Like, Jeremy Reeves, you know, Terry McLaurin, these guys haven't been in this situation before. So, you know, it's big for a guy like Zach Ertz, who spoke today, who said, I told the guys, like, the same thing that'll get you beat in the regular season will get you beat in the playoffs. The same thing that'll win you a game in the regular season will win you a game in the postseason. Like, it's another game. Yeah, the stakes are a lot higher. There is no, DQ said it best, this ain't no best of 7 series. You don't get to do this again next week. Oh, we'll get them next time. You got to be at your best on Sunday at 3 o'clock. But make no mistake about it. And Terry, I think it was Terry that said, we prepare at a championship level like we play in a Super Bowl every week. So we don't got to change up how we get down. Because every week, whether it's week 1 Tampa, whether it's week 6 Baltimore, whether it's week, 13, you're on a bye week, right? Or I think that was Tennessee. We was week 14 bye. Week 13 Tennessee. Week 18 Dallas. Doesn't matter. Every week we prepare like we going out and we playing for the chip. So when you get in those moments, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Terry also said about Jayden, and then we'll get to what Jayden said, and then we'll get to our next segment. He said it was the Baltimore game when he went to Jayden. Jayden was sitting on the cooler. He was upset because we had lost to Baltimore. We were about to lose the game. And Terry said he was like the most visibly upset he had seen Jayden, right? And we remember what we heard after that game. Like, Terry was one of the guys that said, you know what? We got something here. You know why? Because dudes are pissed off. Like, yeah, we were close, but we don't care about that shit. We didn't come here to get close. This ain't horseshoes. We came here to win. But dudes is visibly pissed off and upset. And he said Jayden was pissed. Most upset he had seen him at that time. And he said, sometimes guys fall into the trap of, oh, it's just one of, 17. We'll get them next time. He told Jayden, no, don't ever lose that fire right there. Don't ever lose that competitiveness. Be pissed off. He said, Jayden don't like losing a game, let alone a rep in practice. Like, he said, we mess a rep up and he wants to do it again. He said, don't ever lose that. That's what's going to keep you at the top of your game at all times, is the unwillingness to want to lose. The discontent. I remember listening to this thinking, man, Jimmy Johnson was a badass when he was the Cowboys coach. I remember Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin talking about how uncomfortable he made it to lose. They didn't do a lot of losing in those days, but he made it so uncomfortable when they lost. I remember thinking, damn, what a badass he was as a coach. And he talked about the sacrifices he made and things that he did that he regrets, but they don't win the way that they did if he didn't do what he did. And I look at this team and I just look at the way the DQ has set the tone and how he's kind of put these players in a position, and the coaching staff as well, to be successful. And, I'm just really, one thing Jayden said that stuck out, and he talked about the leadership on his team. He talked about Zach Ertz. He talked about Bobby Wagner in particular as guys who he's leaned on heavily this season, right? Guys that have been in this position, that have been to a championship game, that have won a Super Bowl. And he said, I've asked a ton of questions and they've prepared me, but the biggest overarching theme is continue to keep the main thing, keep the process the same, right? Things are going to change. Keep your shit the same, right? You let your shit bubble quiet and then you blow. But he said, above all else, it's going to be a lot of media. It's going to be a lot of things that are going to try to take our attention away, but I'm going to keep my process the same. And, they try to ask him the question about, how would it feel to be the first rookie to be in the Super Bowl? And I love this kid, man. He's so humble and he gets it. That's why I love this dude. This is why we in good hands like Allstate. Because he Dikembe Mutombo'd that bitch. Swatted that bitch out the air. Get that shit out of here. He said, man, I ain't thinking about that, man. It'd be cool, right? But I ain't thinking about that. I'm just thinking about getting better today. God damn, that's a good answer. That's some Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer. Show me. I ain't worrying about that. I'm just trying to get better today. Bang! Number one mother effing answer on the board. We got us one of them ones, man. Damn, it feels good. Damn, it feels good. So let's take our first look at the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday for the third time. Round 3. DQ said, nah, I'm not thinking about it in terms of round 3. This is the first time we've seen him in the playoffs. This is why I love this guy. That's why I love this guy. Because he puts everything in its proper perspective, right? This ain't a continuation of the last game. It's a whole new game. We still got shit that we ain't showed them from the last 2 times we prepared for them, right? Just like they probably do. And he said, and I felt like this was a veiled shot at Detroit when DQ said, this the playoffs. Like, we ain't out here trying brand new shit. We just trying to refine and be the best at what we do, right? I was like, you trying to send a subliminal? Is that a sub? Because I'm catching what you pick, I'm picking up what you putting down, right? I caught that, but at the end of the day, you know what this is, man. It's Commanders, it's Eagles for the third time. And it ain't really much else to say. Like, you know what we got to do. You know what it comes down to. You can't stop 26. It's going to be a long evening, right? If we can't protect 5, if we can't run the ball, it's going to be a long evening. It ain't new. You know what else DQ said? He playing with my emotions, though, I know him well enough to know ain't no way in hell we going to get to the championship game and he going to start playing musical chairs on the offensive line. I know that ain't going to happen. But they asked him, and he played coy, and I like it. I like it a lot because you get an Eagles something to think about, right? I don't know how long they're going to think about it, but he was asked about putting his best 5 on the field on the offensive line. And once again, he gave a shout-out to Trent Scott, which tells me it's going to be Trent Scott at right guard. But he said, yeah, that's definitely something we're entertaining. And, at this point, you want to put your best 5 on the field. And I'm like, DQ, look at me. Look at me. So, because your best 5 would probably be kick Wiley inside the guard and put Trent Scott at right tackle. That's probably your best 5. Wiley ain't played guard since he got here, bro. He ain't played guard since he was in Kansas City. Like, why is you lying? Like, come on now. We know better than that, right? So, ain't no shuffling of the deck, right? You're not uprooting 2 different positions to try to fix one, even though you wouldn't be uprooting one. You just would be inserting Cornelius Lucas in and just shifting down Andrew Wiley. But Andrew Wiley he been all right, He been all right. They're going to just insert Trent Scott. That's it, to right guard, and we're just going to keep it pushing. But we know the Eagles, right? We know who they are, what they do. And the thing I love is this ain't a new coordinator to this rivalry, right? DQ been in Dallas for the last 3 years. He didn't coach against Jalen Hurts for the last 3 years. 4 if you count this year. Joe Witt Jr. been with him that entire time. They know Jalen Hurts. They know his tendencies. They know what he likes to do. They know how he likes to play. They know how to get him off his spot. So I'm not the least bit concerned about Jalen Hurts or any of the weapons that the Eagles may possess outside of Saquon Barkley, because it starts and ends there, right? You don't stop him, you in for a long-ass evening. Like, literally. The second game, we just played them. Jalen Hurts had 1 completion before he got hurt. They still scored 14 points without him having really any impact on the game as a passer. He ran one, and Saquon Barkley was killing us on the ground. So, once again, we got to stop Saquon Barkley. They were up 21-7, and their quarterbacks had been a very minimal impactor on the game. We have to stop the run. The beauty of it is they haven't seen this iteration of the Commanders in neither of the two contests we played against them were we this confident. We were 7-2 and we were playing good and we had won 3 in a row the first time, but Jayden was injured. It was a short week. And Cliff admitted, we didn't get to prepare for them the way we wanted to. So, that was a different team, right? Marshon Lattimore wasn't available. The second game, he had just come back. We were in the midst of a losing streak, or we had just lost the week before to Pittsburgh, right? And so our confidence was a bit fleeting. Jayden was just starting to get healthy again. Well, the second game, excuse me, that was the first game when we had just lost to Pittsburgh. The second game, we were a much more confident team, right? We had finally come off the bye, playing good. We played well before the bye. We barely got past New Orleans, but we did. That was 2 in a row, and we were starting to bubble with confidence. We got Marshon Lattimore back. We felt a lot better about ourselves, but this is a different animal they're dealing with this time. Completely healthy. Jonathan Allen didn't play the last time we played them either. Like, neither game, for that matter. Like, it's a different team. Different team. Totally different level of confidence. Bubbling with this team. We finally starting to unlock Dorrance Armstrong on the interior. That wasn't the case the last time we saw them. It's a different team, man. Now it's about executing. It's about going out and finding ways to get it done. Finding those edges. I got no doubt that they're going to do that. None. But it starts with stopping Saquon Barkley. We'll dive into all the numbers. We'll do all of that, good stuff. Tomorrow we'll be live on the show tomorrow night. Tonight we'll be live, Super Friends, 8:30 p.m. We got the watch party. I'm going to do a separate video to promote that. But again, if you're planning on attending the watch party, the link is in the description of this video. Also going to be pinned to the comment section of this video. And also, if you're planning on getting some lodging and you're looking for hotel accommodations, you got to jump on that fast. You got till tomorrow night, Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time to make that purchase and get the rate that is special for just us. Okay, so hit me up if you need that accommodation. I got you, but you got until essentially Friday at midnight. So once again, I'll do a separate video promoting the draft party, or watch party, excuse me. So in any event, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. I look forward to chopping it up with y'all tonight, tomorrow night, the night after that, and of course, Sunday. But until then, you guys have a good one. Take care. And I'll see y'all next time. Let's get it.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hole. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone.